From the cycle of stories from the blue underground, we try a new small leaf. Um, a few days ago, we're traveling back and forth in time, like in Ubik. I've just finished Philip K. Dick. Well, much more sophisticated there, but then the audience is much larger. Here we have two people who come across this by accident and stop after a few seconds. So this is between me and him. We have another friend there, so it's just something for studies in the future, studies in mind problems, and maybe there's a more interesting conversation. They serve a purpose. They are more interesting. That's why this is the setup is organized like this, because forget this, watch those, they might be more interesting. And besides, some street cleaners are just there behind, so maybe they have a conversation and you can follow that to compensate for the lack of substance here, here. So I was talking that when I started with supposedly the story of life in the gutter. And I was saying that he was, it's his story which should be told, surely, because he had quite a few adventures in his time. Intrepid, I'm thinking now what comes to mind. He was doing military service and at the same time making every effort to see that his son, this one, would would avoid what is actually a silly endeavor. Yes, well, you have to defend the country, but back in those days, the communist days, it was a question of a Warsaw Pact of defending communism, defending tyranny, defending not really worthwhile. Besides, if we're thinking All Quiet on the Western Front, a film we've seen again recently, there's a note on the blog. All wars are terrible. So when he was conscripted, somebody came to him with a proposition to, because he had not so big ears, and in fact he was a charming man with appeal to women. He was talking a lot, like his son at a later stage. That's one reason why this is going on. Nobody would listen to this rambling. You don't have to. I mean, I'm sure you don't by now. But this serves the purpose in the sense that nobody here in real life. But then there's a hope that maybe someone, will just see this call and we have a social distancing and interaction. So they said, okay, we'll sew your ears. We'll make your ears stick less away from your head. And he did that in order to gain some time off that what were stupid, silly, bad, heavy army duty. Another thing he tried was to pretend he's good at projecting movies. So indeed, he was a technician and he was very skilled. He had, I mentioned in that, I don't know, that he had a knack for trade, for sales. He traded back in those days. He couldn't. That was unfortunate. In a way, I'm sure that in a free market economy, not now with the pandemic, but in a different medium environment, perhaps after 1990, would have made it with his talent, his skills, his energy, his relentless effort to find what this guy or this category needs and get it from somewhere. And he did it in the impossible circumstances. As I say, he was trading newspapers with a guy who had ties, and from the ties he could get some books and whatever. Not on a large scale, on a small scale, evidently, because these were the times, but very talented. I'm guessing maybe tomorrow I'll get back to him.